Take it away.
Okay. So as we're here on this beautiful summer afternoon with the sun beating down on us, enjoying nature out here, and want to talk about a project that I've been working on for years, but it's slowly starting to come to fruition, and it's what we're calling the virtual museum. And the whole idea is we want to take and put a museum completely online and be able to showcase all the specimens that we have and that you might have, so that people can share their collections with everybody else all throughout the world. And the reason we're doing this is I've been working for years and years and years with different museums. I've been working on building my own collection. I've been working with other friends who've been building their collections. And if you go to a regular museum, you see perhaps 1% of their collection.
Yeah.
You get to see it only during the hours that they're open, only when you can go there, and if you're lucky you get a little bitty plaque that might tell you the name of it and where it came from.
It is frustrating. I've gone to see places because I knew they had stuff and it wasn't out. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not out?
Yep, absolutely. They have stuff that's not out. They have exhibits that rotate through, and so you've got to time it for the right, 1 year out of the decade that it might be on display, or a piece that might be, well, gosh, it's in the Berlin Museum, why don't you just run over there?
Right.
As sideline, I was talking to a paleontologist who specializes in ceratopsian dinosaurs. Those are things like Triceratops and Chasmosaurus. And, he was trying to do a project, and for him to get together the information to write one paper comparing several dinosaurs, he logged 50,000 flight miles going from one museum to another museum to another museum to be able to access these specimens, because you couldn't get to them any other way. What we're trying to do is fix that so that everybody will have 24/7 access to all these specimens, to all this information. You'll be able to pull it up, you'll be able to see it, share it, and as I always like to tell parents especially, when your kid comes to you and it's 8 o'clock on Sunday night and they tell you they've got a project due for school tomorrow morning, you've now going to have a place to turn.
You have a friend.
We're going to be putting detailed articles out there. We're going to be having photographs. We have 3D scans. We've got background information. We have in-depth information, and we're going to put it all out there, public access, so you'll be able to sit there and take it and put it in your kid's paper and not have to worry about it. We're working with schools and individuals all around the country. We are going to be able to share specimens out with teachers, with home educators. You'll be able to access all these things. We also do school visits, and we bring things around so that kids can actually get their hands on something. The absolute most prized piece that all the kids love to get is this beautiful slab that I have. And I hand it around to the kids, and I tell them, see if you can figure out what this is, feel it, smell it, taste it, can you get any information out of it? And when it's all done, I ask them, have they figured out what it is? And it's a huge Sauropod Cobra. It's fossilized dinosaur poo.
Ooh.
From a great big sauropod dinosaur, like an Apatosaurus, depending on what it is.
I've seen it.
This is a huge slab. It polishes up. One side is polished, one side is raw. And on the polished side, you can see all the bits of branches and leaves
Berries
and twigs
and,
that they were eating that got partially digested. So this is where the kids can really hands-on get an idea of how do we know what the dinosaurs ate. And here, this is a Sauropod Cobra. Inside there, we can see exactly what they were eating. Here are bits of pine branch. So they were taking that, chewing it, digesting it partially or fully,
and then they go home with the website address.
And they go home with the website address, and they can keep
along their way.
and learning and learning. And it's the virtualmuseum.net. And so anybody is welcome to go there. It's right now, it's in just its alpha, so there's bits and pieces out there as we're finishing putting this together, but we're trying to expand it daily. And
so exciting.
Hopefully very soon we'll actually be rolling out the full thing to where you'll be able to really delve in. But you can already get out there and start looking through information on minerals. We're beginning to get information on fossils and geologic timescales. We've got information on the periodic table and chemistry, and we're just going to continue to build that
Well, it's going to be a game changer, and not just in America, in the world at large. Everybody will have access to this, and we'll get smarter, and people who accidentally find things will have an ability to reference. That's going to really, really help a lot of people out.
So there you go if you want extremely rare.
What do we got?
Bismuto microlite. Inside the capsule, there's a tiny little blue
Now, what is that
speck.
little thing?
That is a large crystal of, like I say, bismuto microlite from Brazil. That's about as big as the crystals get of that mineral. But yeah, I mean, that one...
There's a black speck in that box that is what we're
I don't even know if I ever seen one if I did see one.
No, when I saw that, I would walk right over.
You need to know what kind of formation it even occurs in. You got to find the little bitty vug that it's in. Then they go and they do an X-ray diffraction spectrum on it, and they say, "Ooh, we got a hit. There's bismuto microlite," and they'll go through there.
For me, it would be what I call a lever right. lever right there. Don't even pick it up.
We never even noticed it.
That one. You sound like my old friend.
Microlite is the category you're talking about.
It is a microlite. Is the
That's funny. I call it a lever right.
family of minerals,
Yeah.
and then this one,
The genre.
instead
What's
of
going on in my big stone over
a
here?
regular
Never seen
species
one
of
quite
microlite,
like
it's
that.
got a high concentration of bismuth in it as the...
Oh, okay.
canonical one. So it's-
Okay, what have you got
Anywhere
there?
from
well, this is a small piece of chalcanthite from
10
Bisbee,
to
Arizona.
30, 25.
Chalcanthite.
It's another
So,
copper mineral that
I'm not
occurs
buying them on eBay, I'm buying
in association
but I don't want
with
to be
these,
unfair or
but you
anything.
can see it's got a different...
With chrysocolas, you mean?
Because they're good
Which is what
contrast when
Les
you get
brought
to them.
over.
I like them.
None of these guys knew they were going to see each other today. This all just kind of
Oh, no, I
happened,
can pay
people. Isn't that
A
exciting?
little more than that.
It
I'm
was found at the 79 mine in Hayden, Arizona. And so it gives you the
Nice.
I do the same thing. I try to ask
mineral and location, and it's got an index number on it.
Yeah,
so
it's
that
called
was way
perky
back
boxes
in
that they keep fragile, small things in. Just so you know, none of this is for sale. This is all private collector stuff.
And then what you'll be able can do is if you go to our website and you look up hemimorphite on the website, it will tell you the chemical composition of it. It will tell you the hardness, the crystal structure. It will tell you the streak color. It will tell you the density.
As deep as you want to go.
Yep, all the information that you wanted to know about it. It'll tell you all the related minerals. You can click through and see other minerals that share the same structure, the same chemical makeup, so that you can get more in depth into it. And that's all connected together there on the museum. And that was...
Well, this is just so exciting. Tell me about this piece here.
This is a piece of raw copper from northern Michigan. It was found near Holton, Michigan, and this was actually collected by my father when he was a young boy and crawling around on the tailings piles. So he was on a vacation or collecting trip with my grandfather, grandmother, and they collected this little piece of float copper, and the gold grew on top of it.
This obviously I didn't find, but all these I found right around that. And I look
From Brazil too?
No, I think. Let me check. It's on the bottom. This is from Silverton, Colorado.
Oh.
This is this.
People are going to have fun with that. That definitely has eyes and a tail.
This is from the United States. This is from Utah. And that's Carnotite. The yellow band in there is uranium oxide.
But just not enough to hurt us.
And there's not enough there that it's going to give you any significant
UV
background.
reactive then.
It would actually fluoresces. Yep.
For sure it does.
It,
What about the gold part?
the darker band, I think, is just an iron staining in there.
Okay,
I am not
same
absolutely
rock.
certain.
Oh, I see iron staining, and is that the
And
white
it's
is a different than
And the white is a matrix.
is a host rock, yeah. And then so just wow, that reminds me of some of the new greens that are coming
This is
through.
mimetite that is grown on top of wolfenite, and so it's the yellow orangish crystals. Again, they're little plates, and that's a mimetite. And then underneath it is actually another red mineral, wolfenite.
People look at and say, well, that's really a cool rock. Where'd you
And
get
those
that?
share most of the same chemical elements, and so as one formed, then the second one, the surface started changing and grew into the.
So isn't that
into
sort of the
new one.
morphite polymorph thing, or no? Not considered that.
This isn't considered that, but I did bring this one. And so this is Goethite, which is a pseudomorph after pyrite.
It is?
Yep.
Oh.
Those used to be pyrite cubes. So those used to be fool's gold shiny.
Uh-huh. Turn it around the box
And
once.
pyrite is, could take the top off here. Pyrite is iron sulfide. And then goethite is iron oxide. And so what happened is the sulfur was slowly lost and replaced by oxygen, but in a process that was delicate enough that the crystal shape of the original pyrite was not changed. And that's why it's called a pseudomorph.
Pseudomorph was
Yep.
what I was going for.
Yep.
So goethite is always a pseudomorph of
No,
pyrite.
goethite can form all by itself.
Okay, good. But in
This
this
just
case,
happens
it was.
in this
I see.
case. This
All right.
goethite formed as a pseudomorph.
Yeah, because the goethite I have is much blacker,
Yes.
and that's how it would be on its own.
This moldavite is actually cool. It occurs, say, in one valley in Czechoslovakia, the Moldau Valley, and it is actually glass
Yep.
that was formed by a meteorite impact in that valley. And so that is where the meteorite melted all of the sand around the impact crater. There are minerals that we
I
find
must be wrong.
only
'Cause he knows
in
everything.
meteorites, and actually in Wisconsin there's a mineral that is only found in meteorite craters because it's formed in the impact, high pressure, high temperature zone of a meteorite impact. And so just about 70 miles north of here there's a place where they did some boreholes, and when they went through it they found a few microscopic crystals of that mineral.
Wow.
And there's probably, on the entire planet, there's probably a kilogram of that mineral.
Wow. So, where would you go? Is there a university place where you'd go to have something identified properly? If you find something in your yard, would you go to an extension service at River Falls or U of M campus? Or
UW River Falls actually has an excellent geology department.
Does it?
And they have some professors there who are very up on
Yeah.
minerals and mineral identification. If
Yeah.
you're in St. Croix County, where we are, you found dolomite or quartz, because that's all we have.
so don't get it checked out if you want it to be good.
They're dinosaur eggs. Wish they were mine, but they're not. 2 real dinosaur eggs.
That petrified.
It was,
So it had to be a quick cataclysm that brought them out. As far as
these
a
were
sudden...
buried in a sandstorm in the Mongolian desert at the time, and they dehydrated in the desert and then were permineralized. And you can actually see multiple processes, because there's mostly iron minerals, which give them that nice orange color in there.
Yeah.
But in between you can see blue greens. So it says there's actually also some coppers minerals that have infiltrated in there to give them some of the
What's
color.
the odds of finding, where else could you find stuff like that? And I mean, is that even possible in Minnesota and Wisconsin?
Minnesota and Wisconsin, no. Wisconsin and Minnesota were both extremely heavily glaciated. So the glaciers during the recent ice ages came through, and basically from the Canadian border down to about central Wisconsin, southern Minnesota, they ground away everything since the Precambrian. Here in St. Croix County, there is a small amount of Cambrian limestone that is cut through by the St. Croix River Valley and also by the Willow River, and you can find some trilobites in there.
Oh.
Otherwise, you have to get to southern Wisconsin or southern Minnesota to find trilobites and other fossils. This is a trilobite fossil. It is Calamine illinoisensis. It is the state fossil of Wisconsin. Okay, and it's kind of sad that the state fossil of Wisconsin is named after Illinois. Yes. And what's really cool about this is this one was, again, this was collected by my grandfather in a limestone quarry in Milwaukee.
Huh.
That limestone quarry was closed down. They turned it into a landfill and then bulldozed it over, so it's now buried. What they are finding now as they go back and look at these fossils, they're realizing that that limestone quarry is what's called a Lagerstätten, which means it's a quarry that had such fine-grained stone that it preserves exquisite detail in the fossils, revealing stuff that you could not see anywhere else. There are only a handful of Lagerstättens around the world. There's a famous one in Canada called the Burgess Shale. There's one in China. There's one in Germany, the Solnhofen limestones that gave us the Archaeopteryx with all of its feathers
Is that a
preserved.
fossil of a bug, some type of bug or something?
Well, it is an arthropod, so it's of the same family that insects are in, but as well as crabs and other
Sort of in
crustaceans.
between bugs and
Trilobites
crustaceans.
form a family of creatures which were extremely prolific through the Paleozoic, but died out completely during the Permian extinction before the Triassic, Cretaceous period. So these were all gone by the time of the dinosaurs. We know currently of about 18,000 different species of trilobites, and this is one of them.
wow.
Mbeki, sorry.
It looks like a giant beetle.
It
Upside
is. It's
down.
another marine creature. It's the same
Right.
general family, trilobites. This is an armored one. But what I like about this one is this one was just first discovered in 2013. So we've only even known about this trilobite for 7 years, and I was able to
Really?
get my hands on one.
Wow.
And it's cool, and it's an armored trilobite.
Turn it a little bit. Thanks.
Wow. What a little ugly little creature.
I think he's cute. Is he upside down?
Nope, this is his top surface.
That's his top?
That's a top.
Mhm.
All right. I was thinking he
So-
was belly up, but
Yeah.
okay.
This is this end of the trilobite is called the Cephalon, which is basically the Greek word for a head.
Yep.
And back here is the pygidium, which comes from the Greek word for butt. And in between is the thorax. And this large bulb here is actually its stomach.
Really?
It
Well, it
has a
looks like
feeding
its
plate
head.
right underneath, and the stomach was right there, and then the intestine would go back down.
Where was
and
the head
out.
again?
So this whole region up here is the head. These are the cheeks, is what they're called here, all the way out to here, and here on the sides.
Oh.
And this appears, I believe this is a blind trilobite. It does not have eyes. Some trilobites have incredibly well-developed eyes, and other ones are completely blind. They range from minuscule, under a millimeter in length, to almost 3 feet in length.
So are we in the billion-year-old category here?
Not billion. This is
Oh.
a Devonian Trilobite from Morocco.
Devonian, yeah, it's pretty young then.
And so
for a
it's
fossil.
this one's only about 350 million years old.
Okay.
The
Well, that's quite a bit younger. than
trilobite I
billion.
showed you earlier, the Calamine illinoisensis, that's a Cambrian trilobite, so that's about 550 million years old.
Okay.
So these guys were prolific throughout the oceans for about 300 million years.
And we don't have
so
them anymore at all.
We don't have any of them anymore. They all died out at the end of the Permian extinction.
Well, so nice to meet you. Do you have a name for him?
I have not given him a personal name, no.
Anybody getting a thought? We'll ask the viewers to name him.
Yeah, my wife called him the bank account drainer. So
There you
it has
go.
a much longer tail
Yeah.
compared to
right.
that one.
Yeah.
Shorter neck compared to that one.
Just a reverse impression cast of their skeleton, kind of?
Two different.
yeah.
Two different animals.
These are the full skeletons there. These are not the impressions.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
those are the skeletons that fossilized.
Mhm.
And they're just, I mean,
Yep.
do you touch them?
Sure. I don't touch this one because it's so delicate.
Right.
But that one, yeah, you can touch.
I have oils on my hands.
Yeah.
I don't touch it.
Cool.
On both sides here, you can see the humerus on both sides. Here we only have a partial radius and ulna, so there was some damage to the skeleton that occurred during the fossilization preservation process. You can still see the radius and ulna on that side, and there's the finger bones. So it was buried, and something actually came along and scavenged and
Yep.
bit that little chunk out.
That's kind of
Is
what I was
that lungs
thinking.
there?
Those are part of the scapula, your shoulder blades.
Shoulder bones.
Okay. Yeah, because lungs wouldn't.
He was pointing
stay.
out how something probably came along and took out the wrist bones, like a little bug or creature, or maybe another, but something took it.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
this is a
Bacteria or
Yup,
whatever.
So you could see it there, but you cannot see it right there.
Well, I hope I make such a good skeleton fossil someday.
Well, unless we drop you down in the kidney somewhere, you're.
We could do that.
This is all radioactive.
Yep.
So that's
Those are all different uranium minerals. What it is on the bottom. You know, they're all labeled on the bottom. So like this one.
Is that spirit quartz?
It's spirit quartz from South Africa, but what is?
Which is a really hard form of like druzy. Is that
yeah.
wrong?
Well,
Close enough.
Quartz
All
is
right.
quartz, silicon
but-
dioxide.
Little tiny presentation, and ooh, look at that
And so it's
point
got-
on that. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's got a beautifully terminated point on the core crystal. It has beautifully terminated branch crystals on it. But what's really special about this is this orange color that's on that side of it is actually precipitated platinum. So the
So that makes
crystals
it really valuable.
are coated with platinum. It just makes it unusual.
Yeah.
This one comes from South Africa. I had to pay a reasonable price for it, but not ludicrous price.
Good question.
Pleasure.
It's been my pleasure.
Oh, and hopefully we'll see each other a lot more.
Absolutely.
Yep. All
To
right.
be
Talk to you all.
continued.